Hey, it's Mike Coffey with MAPS Coaching. Today's topic is our economic model, and we want to kind of demystify this model and show how we use it to track our progress towards our goals. So there's an old saying that you get what you measure. And in any sales-based business, we need to understand our conversion rates so we can look at our leading metrics as well as the results we're getting from those. So I'm going to share the economic model with you right now. Oh, oh, and all right, so this is an exercise to identify what are the numbers we need to track in order to be sure that we're on pace to hit our goals. As you track your numbers, I suggest that you keep like a 90-day rolling average so that you can understand your individual conversion rates. But if you don't know the numbers right now, you can use our generic averages, right, as a sample of what may need to be achieved. And then tracking your own individual numbers, you'll see how you compare against those averages. So the bottom line with the economic model is it's tracking how things move through a sales funnel in order to result in earned income. So the numbers we're going to track in a real estate business are on the listing side and the buyer side, what activity needs to happen in order to hit our gross revenue. Subtracting out our cost of sales and our operating expenses gives us our net income. The basic formula for a millionaire real estate agent looks like this. In order to achieve a net income of $1 million, when you pay your operating expenses and your cost of sale, you understand that you'll need a gross revenue of $2.4 million in order to achieve that net. If your business is equally divided between listings and sales, we can take half of that gross revenue number, or GCI, and put it half in listings and half in buyers. Now we take our average commission and our average sales price in order to get the number of sales needed to drive that amount of GCI from each side of our business, listings and buyers. So these are all outcome based, right? We're going to figure out that we need 160 sellers sold at an average price of $250 with an average commission per side of $7,500 in order to generate that GCI. Your average sales price, your commission rates, of course, are all negotiable. They're all going to be under your control. So you want to be using your numbers here, but the math still works, right? You'll know your average sales price based on your average commission rate to get your average commission per side. And that gives you the number of deals or widgets that you need to sell every year in order to achieve that gross revenue. Now that we know the outcome, we want to look at what activity it takes to drive that outcome. If we use an average conversion rate on the listing side, we'll see that if we go on 309 listing appointments, we'll take 80% of those listings, right? So 309 appointments would give us 247 listings taken that year. We know that we'll sell 65% of those listings. So that would give us 160 sellers sold for the year. Again, your numbers will be different, your market will be different, but the math formula still works to the number of appointments you go on. A percentage of those will convert to the number of listings you take, and there'll be a percentage of those listings that drop into a sold bucket, if you will. We can do the same on the buy side. What's interesting is the conversion rates are going to be different. So we find on average that out of 307 buyer appointments, you'll actually take 65% of those to buyer agency agreements. And out of the buyer agency agreements that you sign, 80% of those would convert to sold units, right? So you end up with the same number on both sides, but the conversion rates are going to be different. We use these conversion rates to have a discussion about what's important to track, not to tell you that these are going to be your numbers, right? And you'll also find that the bigger your business is, it's likely that your conversion rates are going to be lower because you're doing more business with people who may not know you, trust you, and like you already. So there's a sample for you to use using your numbers in order to get the monthly number of sales. What's your percentage of listings versus buyers? What's your conversion rate of the listings you've taken to the listings you've sold? And what's your conversion rate for the listing appointments you've gone on to the listings that you've signed? And the same on the buy side, right? So here are the averages from the MREA book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Again, your averages are going to be different. Your goals may be different, yet you can use these to determine your leading metrics. So the way that I know I'm on track to net $1 million is if I've gone on 309 listing appointments, 307 buyer appointments. Every month, the way that I know I'm on track for my net million in this example is that I've gone on 25.73 listing appointments and 25.58 buyer appointments. So what does that look like? For an MREA agent, that means you're going on, what would that be? 6 listing appointments a week and 6 buyer appointments a week, right? Would end up generating the amount of business that you need to net $1 million. Your numbers are going to be different, but this gives you a formula to calculate the leading metrics and the numbers that you need to track about moving people through your sales funnel. If you want a copy of this exercise, please shoot me an email. If you want to talk about how to make this work for your numbers, click one of the links below. Thanks. Make it a great day.